Hello and welcome to a new episode at Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Ahmed Assaf, and we have today an amazing guest, Hamsah Smadi. How are you today, Hamsah?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Today, Hamsah, we want you to share your thoughts, and we will be going deep about the authentic self, about the authenticity and the self-doubt and the self-acceptance. And we'll be discussing also the resilience and the growth mindset. If we would start about the authenticity, because
Yes.
this is the key. How could you define it and how it could help to overcome doubt and self-acceptance?
Okay, that was a good question. Being authentic is one of the biggest challenges that anyone could face, especially in their self-development journey. Being authentic means uh, being your true self without over judgment or interpretations, past interpretations, or let's say the inherited mindset you have from your parents or your environment. That's your authentic self. But how to get there, that's another story. But that's, let's say, a simple definition of being authentic.
So sometimes, because we've been raised through genetically and environmentally, and lots of doubts are built in our self-image, which is by default is affecting our results. So
Yes.
if you will be talking with someone who's stuck somehow with his results and who have doubts. Some of them they don't know that they have doubts. Some of them they just ignore it. How could we just encourage them to highlight that issue and just what would be the perfect way to overcome that self-doubt?
Mhm. Okay. Let's say there's no one method, there's no one, there's no such thing as a perfect method
Mhm.
for dealing with self-doubt or being authentic. Um, it will be many things, or let's say many tools you have to use in your own journey to get where you want to be. So one of the things that we can talk about is working on your shadow self. There is this part of us that's called the shadow self, which um, which stores all kinds of doubts and fears we have within.
Where is that
So,
that part of us? Where is it stored in us, inside of us, you
okay,
mean?
yeah, there's the unconscious mind that
Mhm.
stores many of the events and feelings that you have maybe from your childhood or the environment you've been raised with or within. Uh, all these things affect your authentic self because it gives you, um, let's say, subjective interpretation of who you are. So if you could go back and dig deep into this shadow self, and it's called the shadow work
Mhm.
in therapy. If you can dig deep into that self, you can find many doubts and many wrong interpretations or unrealistic expectations of who you are or how your life should be. So if you ask me why would I do that, one of the main reasons we have to do this because it affects our life, has a negative impact on our existence and on our reality. For example, if you have you have many mood swings, or if you're a mad person all the time, or if you have bad relationships, or if you can't get your goals, or if you can't achieve whatever you want to or whatever you have in your mind, these are all signs that there is a problem with your authentic self. There are this shadow self that is being hidden, and you can get there, and you haven't worked on that. So
Mhm.
all of these things are mostly related to our doubts and misguided interpretations of our reality or our life path.
Perfect. So now the audience are listening to us and they will say that, okay, maybe we have self-doubts and we have limited beliefs,
Mhm,
but we notice the problem, so we can do it alone. So how
mhm.
could we tell them that if they can do it alone or it's not possible, they need someone to be mentoring them so they can get out from those limited beliefs and doubts that and getting fear from inside of them.
Actually, it's a continuous process. It doesn't have like a beginning and an ending. You can still work on your self-doubt for years. Uh, there's no such thing as like limited time. You have to work on
Mhm.
yourself. So part of it you will do it yourself, and part of that you might have to go to some like therapists or coaches or whatever you need an assistance with, because sometimes you feel it's like a burden on yourself if you dig deep alone with all of these fears and doubts. So sometimes you need to go back or to get the assistance of like a specialized coach or a therapist to go that process, because it's not an easy thing. Sometimes it gives you like some shock. You can be shocked
Yeah,
with
emotional
uh,
impact. Yeah.
yes, with the things or the feelings you can feel, or the facts you find out by going back to your shadow self. So
Hmm.
sometimes you need to go back with therapist or coach, and some part of it you can do it by yourself. It depends on how resilient you are
Hmm.
and the level of awareness you have
Hmm.
of all this process.
We will talk about resilience, but here is the point that we will get to, Sister Hamza, is the goal from all that is to get to the point of being authentic, being yourself,
Mm,
and accept yourself, whatever the issue you're living with. First step, I think we have to accept ourselves, because if you
yeah.
deny or just if we don't,
Mm,
if we start rejecting ourselves, it will be a bigger issue with us. So the first step would be accepting ourselves, then going for the specialist or the mentor or a coach, whatever the case it is, to get to the point, just there's no limits for whatever you want to do. Nothing is holding you back other than you. And
yeah.
here comes the resilience. And how could resilience be helping to overcome this strategy or this treatment to be an authentic person?
I want to comment first about the acceptance. Uh, Accepting yourself is the main step you have to do before going deep down inside yourself and
Mhm.
find out
Yes.
anything you want to find. Because if you do that from the background of being refusing yourself or refusing your current reality, let's say, you will go nowhere. You will just uh, be drowning in a sea of fears and doubts. So you have to first accept yourself and accept your flaws, accept being in a fearful situations, or accepting that you have fears. Many people maybe they don't really have the courage to face the fact that they have fears, and that they can go by themselves to do yeah, to do this process, to deep
Mhm.
down
Mhm.
themselves. So it's important to accept yourself before starting that journey. The other thing about resilience, it's very related to finding your authentic self. Because if you can't have, or you don't have some of the resilience signs, um, you may get crushed, or you may feel like you're really the shock um, is enormous that you can't uh, accept it for yourself. So resilience is based on the concept of being able to bounce back from whatever you have in your life, like the challenges, difficulties you face in your life, to being able to bounce back from those difficulties, to be in your normal state or the neutral state, uh, that state of being comfortable, you don't have stress, you're not in a stressful situation. So being in that state again is what we call resilience. How to bounce back from all these difficult situations into your neutral self, let's say, or neutral state.
So once we are going through this treatment of the self-doubt, we started accepting ourselves and with resilience and persistent because we will face uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because you will not overcome the fear.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always feel the fear, and there's always fear. And once you're setting big goals, because there's three types of goals. The type A is setting something you know. And goal
Yes.
B, something you think you can do. But the real goals, it's C goals. Once you expand something you really want more than anything else, you don't know how to get it, but you're willing and you're able to do it. And that's what get comes with fear. So fear, it's always there. And from my experience, I thought that I will get a point that I don't fear. Fear, it's always there. And that's why, as you
Yes.
said, you always need that treatment to talk with someone
Mhm.
and drain that out of you.
Yes.
Because at certain points, and that's what makes your resilience stronger and you're more persistent and you'll be feeling more authentic about yourself. You know what you're doing and you're thinking about
Yes.
yourself. And that's the difference will get us to the point of the difference of two mindsets, which is the growth mindset and the fixed mindset.
Resilience is one of the results of having a growth mindset.
Hmm.
Uh, let's say there are, in my opinion, there are three steps you can
Okay.
do to have a resilient mind,
Hmm.
and that will lead you to the growth mindset, or you can do it both ways. One of the things, if you know your strengths, and there are many ways to find out what your personal strengths are. The second thing is to learn about the coping skills. There are two types of coping skills. There's the distraction skills you do in some stressful situations, or when you feel like you're angry or you can't process a specific incident. The second one is the processing skills. So you have to be aware about the coping skills in order to know how to use them. The third thing is to acknowledge your feelings, to acknowledge your emotions, whether it be um, uh, being depressed or stressed out or mad, or
Hmm.
all of these kind of there are more than about 2,000 types of emotions or feelings. So being able to acknowledge that you have this kind of feeling is one of the main steps to understand or to be a resilient person. So, knowing your strengths, uh, being aware about coping skills and how to use them,
Hmm.
and acknowledging your feelings. All of these things will lead you to the growth mindset. The growth mindset means, when Carol Dweck talked about growth mindset in her book, The Mindset, uh, she stressed that, or she explained that one of the important facts that we have to work out with ourselves is that there's nothing called limited edition of anything. You know, if for example, if I failed my exam today, it's not this is not my reality. I can change that. I have two options: whether I be depressed and feel like I'm a loser and I can't get to my goal, whatever I do, and that's the fixed mindset. Or I can say, okay, I failed my exam and that's bad, but still I have another opportunity to do better in the future. And in all kinds of life situations, we always have those two options. Whether we surrender to the idea that there's no way out, or we can try again, or do it in another way, or learn from it. There are always lessons to learn from.
If I get back to you talk about knowing your strengths. If you could give us just a simple one way or two ways, practical ways, how could someone know where are the strengths he have, or what are the questions he should ask himself or herself? And if he have some weaknesses, how he could treat those weaknesses?
Positive psychology, we care more about knowing your strengths, and by knowing how to work with your strengths, you can defeat your weaknesses or treat your weaknesses.
Okay.
So one of the main ways is doing a simple test. It's called VIA character strength test.
Mhm.
It's there on the internet. Anyone can do it, and it will show 24 strengths that everyone have them, but let's say
Is it for free, this test?
yeah. This is for free. Anyone can do it.
So we will
But if
share
you
it with
want,
our audience so they can look for
yeah,
theirs.
sure. Yeah. So there are 6 categories
Mm-hmm.
with those 24 strengths.
Mm-hmm.
For example, leadership strength, wisdom strength, humanity,
It will be like a
transcendence.
questions, Sister Hams. It's like questions.
Yes, yes. These are questions, about 100 questions. You
Mm-hmm.
can answer them and then get your result and know exactly how you're doing in all of these strengths, because there is top strength, middle strength, and lesser strength.
Okay.
So this is one of the ways. There is another simpler way you can do is by asking people around you, what do you think about me? What do you think I'm good at, for example? Uh, uh, what I do better than other people. For example, your skills. You can cook really well, or you can have a good conversation with someone. So this is one of the simple ways we use
Mm-hmm.
to find out about our strengths.
And what about the weaknesses?
Okay,
Which
I think
most of
everyone
us,
knows
yeah, they
knows
know the
about
weaknesses,
their
but they know the
weaknesses.
strength. Which we should highlight more the
Exactly,
strength more than the weaknesses.
exactly. It's not about denying our weaknesses.
Mhm.
It's all there, and we all know about our weaknesses. But by working on your strengths and using them in the right way, to say, you can by default work on your weaknesses. It's we use this approach, and it's really practical, especially when I use this approach in coaching progress. It brings really good results with people, because
Mhm.
they don't need someone to tell them that you have this weakness and you have this weakness. They already know. So they need someone to tell them that you can do more than your weakness. You can do something different.
Yeah, and that's the necessity of a mentor is how he could or she could empower and guide the mentee
Yes,
and get them to their mindset because we
yeah,
cannot give them our feelings or our emotions and we cannot motivate them because the motivation must come from within them. So only we
yeah,
can give them our mindsets. I really
exactly.
appreciate that, Hamza. So what would be your last message to our audience?
Uh, the most important thing that every one of us have his or her own life path, and we all need to dig down and find about our self-doubts and fears. It's a continuous process, it never ends. So don't be discouraged if you find yourself after years of working on yourself or developing yourself, you have some fears or doubts. That's completely normal. Uh, Continue working on yourself, and you will. I hope everyone will have their peace of mind and feel this serenity inside.
I love that. from my like 15 years experience in corporate world and working in construction field and facility management field, I found out that the best investment and return on investment was investing in myself. And I always, every 90 days, I ask myself this question: what is the one belief system that must be upgraded? And what one skill set I must impress so I can have better results? Really appreciate you, Sister Hamza, for this amazing episode.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.